Hey everyone, I wanted to provide some feedback on the most recent quiz that we took so that people could improve while doing retakes next week. So my first piece of feedback is on doing square roots. So most people know that when solving quadratics using square roots, we should first get x by itself. So people did a good job of moving, like isolating x. So I'm starting with moving 30 to the other side. This problem is not identical to your quiz, but it's very similar to the questions you saw in your quiz. Now we get rid of the 15 by dividing by 15, so we get 2 equals x squared. So at this point, some students immediately saw that when you should do square root of both sides, I think on the quiz it was square root of 19, and students did not like that you couldn't do square root of 19 or that you were getting a decimal. So some people said no solution. However, a number does not have to be a perfect square in order to take the square root of it. So in your calculator, you would just type in square root of 2, and then you would get something else that was messing people up. Don't forget to do your plus and minus, because you're going to have a positive and a negative answer, because square roots, if you plugged in a positive or a negative number for x, you would still get that positive 2 over here. So you either could have left your answer like plus or minus square root of 2, or in the calculator, you could have typed in square root of 2, or on the quiz, square root of whatever number it was. So what you do is you push second, then you push the square root button, then you type in the number. When you do that, in this case, you would still get square root of 2. But if you wanted the decimal, if you push this button, it'll give you the decimal. So that is the button that I think a lot of people forgot how to use. So that is the button on the quiz that you would use. The other area of the quiz that was a struggle for people was remembering to find the vertex. So remember, the vertex is the very first number that we should put in our chart while trying to graph a quadratic equation. So when doing this, remember, f of x is very similar to y equals. So if this bothers you, just envision it like y equals. For finding the vertex, that's the x equals negative b over 2a. Sorry, I don't have a pen. I'm writing also with my finger. It's kind of challenging. So when looking at our equation, we have a, b, and c. So we're going to take negative b. So b is negative 8 already, so it's going to be negative 8 over 2 times a. And a is this negative 2. So we'll type in we'll write negative 2. So when simplifying this, negative 8 becomes positive 8. Positive 8 divided by negative 4 is going to be negative 2. So negative 2 is the first number that would go in our chart. And then you pick two numbers directly bigger than negative 2, or directly smaller. So I'm going to do directly bigger. So I'm going to do negative 1 and 0. Then those are the numbers that you're going to plug in for x's in our equation. So it's going to look like negative 2, and then parentheses plugging in the other negative 2 squared minus 8 parentheses negative 2 minus 1. So that's what you're doing with these x values. You're plugging them in for the x's. So when you solve this, you then would write your ordered pair. So it'd be negative 2, comma, whatever value that you get. The other things to touch on, once you graph the parabola, this one's going to end up being 4, negative 8, 16, 4, negative 8, plus 16, positive 8 minus 1 is 7. All right, negative 2, 7. So we'll have negative 2, 7. And then, just to save time on the video, I'm not going to calculate these, but when you graph your parabola, remember your first step is you graph that axis of symmetry after you do the vertex. And then once you get these other points, you're going to reflect them across. So eventually your parabola will look something like this, in this case. So axis of symmetry is what the x value is for this line. So you would have x equals the x value for the axis of symmetry, so negative 2. Your max or min, if you look at the vertex, is at the highest point on the parabola or the lowest point on the parabola. This is the highest point, so it's a maximum, and it's happening at y equals 7. Domain, parabolas open up forever, so it's going forever from left to right, so it's all real numbers. And then range is very similar to the max. You're looking at that highest point, and then the parabola is existing for all the numbers lower than 7. So y should be less than or equal to 7. Hopefully this video will help you prepare for your retake, and feel free to come in during flex time next week to do that retake.